سلاما عم خون وانقاليون قديش ادمارا ايشو عمشيحا كارزو دلوقام مارنا من وميرش لي حتماران مزد لنهي مانوثا مرطلي ان اثولوخن هي مانوثا مغديقت برسنتش خرد لهم دمرت وتآذي توثا شلون صوب ياما وبالطايع واللوخن ماني من نوخون دت أوددك طارب ذانا ينك مر أروه إيمن كاثم دشتا كامر طالي بعدانا فوت نوخ مولا كامر طالي محضر طالي من ديد محاشن وإيصر خاص ودملي والدخل بشاتن وبصد خمايت بدخلته بشاتن مقابل طوت أودا وذل من ديد بشل بقيذة بقاوي لخشوين ومخت إيمان أوذوتن كل من ديد بوت بقيذة بقاوي أمنو دؤودي وبطيلة ومن ديد كمواجب وإلا اللي واذا وذلان وفيما يسوع منطلق إلى أورشليم اجتاز بين السامرة والجليل وإذ أوشك أن يدخل إلى إحدى القرى استقبله 10 رجال برص ووقفوا من بعيد ورفعوا أصواتهم قائلين يا يسوع المعلم ارحمنا. فلما رآهم قال لهم امضوا واروا أنفسكم للكهنة. وفيما هم ذاهبون طهروا وإن واحدا منهم لما رأى أنه قد طهر رجع يمجد الله بصوت عظيم وخر على وجهه قدام قدمي يسوع شاكرا له وكان هذا سامريا. فأجاب يسوع وقال أليسوا 10 الذين قد طهروا فأين 9؟ لماذا افترقوا ولم يأتوا ليعطوا المجد لله ما خلا هذا الغريب الأمة؟ ثم قال له قم امضي إيمانك خلصك. والمجد لله دائما والرب يبارك عليكم. لنشترك جميعا في الصلاة بهذا القداس الإلهي الذي يقدمه على نياتنا نحن الذين جئنا في هذا الوقت المبارك للمشاركة في هذه الذبيحة الإلهية، آملين أن تكون استحقاقاتها خيرا وبركة علينا وعلى عائلاتنا وأشغالنا ووطننا. نصلي بإيمان وحرارة في هذا القداس الإلهي لكي الرب يساعدنا ويعيننا في أن نقدر أن نتجاوز هذه المحنة وهذا المرض الذي ألم فينا. ولنحاول جهدنا أن نصلي في هذا القداس من أجل جميع الذين ماتوا بهذا المرض أو هم على فراش المرض أن يشفيهم، وأن نصلي من أجل نيات أولئك الذين يخدمونهم ويضحون بأوقاتهم وأيضا أحيانا بصحتهم من أجل شفاء هؤلاء المرضى. ولنشرك في صلواتنا في هذا القداس الإلهي أمواتنا الراقدين على رجاء القيامة، ولنصلي أيضا من أجل السلام في العالم أجمع وخاصة في أوطاننا. آمين. إنجيل اليوم أيها الإخوة المباركون هو الفصل 17 من إنجيل القديس لوقا. فيه يبين يسوع بتعاليمه التي يذكرها الإنجيلي أنه الإنسان يجب أن يشكر الله في كل حين ولا ينسى أن يقدم له الشكر أبداً. سأل الرسل وطلبوا من يسوع أن يزيدهم إيماناً، والإيمان هو هدية من الله. الإيمان هو نعمة وبركة من الله يعطيها للإنسان لكي يقدر أن يعيش حياة صالحة مقدسة. والإيمان يقربنا إلى الله لأنه هو ثقة بالله. ولهذا يسوع في إنجيل اليوم يدعونا إلى أن نخدم الله بقلوب مؤمنة وبكل حرية وبكل كمال وإتمام، على مثل ذلك العامل الذي يأتي من الحقل ورغم تعبه يعد الأكل والطعام لسيده. نعم، نحن في هذا العالم متعبين، نحن في هذا العالم مشغولين، ولكن يبقى واجب الله علينا لأنه خالقنا أن نقدم له ليس طعام العالم ولكن طعام الشكر والحمد، ونشكره على جميع أفضاله التي لا تنسى والتي يعطينا إياها. أما القسم الثاني من الإنجيل هذا اليوم هو ما يلائم حياتنا اليوم. نعم، حياتنا اليوم يجب أن تكون مثل ما ذكر إنجيل اليوم. يقول يسوع: مضى إلى قرية فخرج 10 رجال يصيحون: يا يسوع المعلم ارحمنا. لماذا؟ لأنهم كانوا مرضى وبهم مرض ثقيل. ونحن اليوم في هذا الوقت وفي هذه الأزمة التي نعيشها وفي هذا المرض الذي انتشر بيننا يجب جميعنا أن نصلي ونطلب وننادي يسوع: يا يسوع المعلم ارحمنا، اشفي أمراضنا، ترحم على موتانا، وكن لنا حافظا في هذه الحياة. ويسوع يقول الإنجيل نظر إليهم. ما معنى هذا؟ نظر إلى قلوبهم وعرف أنهم يطلبون العون منه بقلوب مؤمنة، بقلوب واثقة بالله، بقلوب قصدت أن ترضي الله كل حياتهم. ولهذا شفاهم وقال لهم: امضوا وأروا أنفسكم إلى الكهنة، أعني توبوا واذهبوا إلى بيت الله وقدموا القرابين. نعم، نحن اليوم أن نتوب وأن نقدم القرابين والنذور إلى الله لكي يترحم علينا. فلا نسمع هذا القداس فقط بآذاننا، لكن يجب أن يدخل معنا هذا الإنجيل في قلوبنا، ونصيح في نهاية هذا القداس لا بل كل يوم: يا يسوع المعلم ارحمنا. ولنكن على مثال ذلك الرجل الغريب الذي جاء وسجد ليسوع شاكرا له لأنه شفاه، يجب أن نشكره جميعا، وخاصة نحن الذين كنا مرضى في هذا المرض وقد شفانا، ولنطلب منه أن يشفي جميع المرضى ويكون عونا لنا في كل أيام حياتنا. آمين.
يا يمي مريم يا جياني مريم، مراحم وانطر العودة برحق لي من مريم.
يا يمي مريم يا جياني مريم، مراحم وانطر العودة برحق لي من مريم.
طيلي ولا إيذيلي والبرونخ إيش عشالي،
بالي ولا إيذاني والبرونخ إيش عشالي.
مراحم اللي مدابري ومخزالي أرخى.
يا يمي مريم
يا جياني مريم،
مراحم وانطر العودة برحق لي من مريم. يا يمي شمي قليم لبي وعند قرايا.
يا يمي شمي طاليم لبي وين بقرايا.
ورخت خشكم باللي ورحق لي ولاد الريح.
ورخت خشكم باللي ورحق لي ولاد الريح.
آيتي وتيمي كا وقتك لوني.
يا يمي مريم
يا جياني مريم، مراحم وانطر العودة برحق لي من مريم.
يا يمي خطيافي بشرب مطوافي.
يا يمي خطياتي بشرب مطواتي.
من ماري مرحق لي وارخش لي ولاد الريح.
ناري مرحق لي وارخش لي ولاد الريح.
ومن إيشع مخنا ليك بن خازني.
يا يمي
يا جاني
مراحم وانطر العودة برحق لي من مريم.
يا يمي مريم،
يا جياني مريم، مراحم وانطر العودة برحق لي من مريم.
شماع عزيزة مشونيل الرحمد مريم حسيد خالد سليم نجار يديم خشكو راز دقور تديب تخرق لبقاود صلواثا محسيا خالد سليم نجار. هم مشونيل الرحمد مريم حسيا ضياء ساكو يديم خشكو راز دقور تديب تخرق لبقاود صلواثا حسيا الضياء ساكو. هم مشونيل الرحمد مريم حسيت السليمة بطاح حبه يديم خوش راز دقورت ديا بسيلة تعزيد تا دهب قاود رهرد ماونت بالز بانكول هول والإشواب عاصرته. حسيت السليمة بطاح حبه إلى تعزيد تا دهب قاود رهرد ماونت بالز بانكول هول والإشواب عاصرته. ألام حاسيلة ويا ولا ملكود دشمية. وشماع عزيزة اديو تلتاسر بيرخب نابل بقاوي يوم دك تخرخ عذراء فاطمة دخ يمن مط مريم ظهيرة بقاود برتغال وتطلفة يا الزورة يا المسكينة وكد يرخى كثياو الجيبي وكل قاعد أثياوة كياوة طليق الرسالة لابس طلي لابس تناشد برتغال بس كل علمة تتيوي من اخطياثة تتكل يناشي بيدها ويوبشاتت ألبا وتشائم وإشواسر يعني هر إيقا وببراية شراثة حروب بقاود علمة حرب العالمية الأولى والثانية مط مريم وبطلابة من عمة من كل علمة تتكل يناشي بغداد أراب هيمانوثة ورحقي من بشتة تدألها ناطيرة من أن شراثة ومن أن أوقانة الثيلة بقاود أن شنة وبقاود أن يوماثة ولدها كبيرة من ناشقارة من أن تنياثة مقرولة يمن مض مريم تأنطلة ثيال زورة وتكبيرة ناشد كد يرخى كد يوم التلتاسة بيرخى ناشق جمعيوة بقاود أذدك قدشتة تشميوة تنياثة يمن مض مريم أن تنياثة إلى طالا نبوءة نعمة ياثة قرك ديال بخلة بقاود أنخاي تتقروخ اليمن مط مريم تدآي مقروالا الجيب دبرونا جيب دمارن ولهن إيشو عمشيحة شو حتى الشمي أو أثيوم بريخ الكلوخن بشفاعة عتد يمن مط مريم يا عذراء فاطمة صالم بدالا وكشي قلنا خو بشلامة مني أنا جونيور عصام يوحنان جواد. Thank you and have a great show.
لاتي غير غذا شقطام حمثي بيشا اين اسلقطام لاتي غير غذا شقطام حمثي بيشا اين اسلقطام
قرب إنا وكم جدلا وكاميرا اتغذى بدلا قرب إنا وكم جدلا وكاميرا اتغذى بدلا من زاد جل خقل كاميرا تلقح الشقلة إيبا قصة جل السقل كلازتي بسري أقل من زاد جل خقل كاميرا تلقح الشقلة إيبا قصة جل السقل شابات زالن بالزول ورابة شدر بخبرات مناثة زالن ورز ونقواته ديك وثيثة بقلايا بقبوق الصاخ ومايا هرقارك تسود لو شوف وخن ملع وشوف ديك وثيثة بقلايا بقبوق الصاخ ومايا هرقارك تسود لو شوف وخن ملع وشوف بشاطة تدمحك اغنية تسبيذة قمت برسيلة شويذة كنت خاز براتا بلكي تقعرغ بشاطة تدمحك اغنية تسبيذة قمت برسيلة شويذة وبربك يبدأ ختامة مدرج وشمامة قاضو خزانة بسيمة وخايم بيشي مرطيمة وبربك يبدأ ختامة مدرج وشمامة قاضو خزانة بسيمة وخايم بيشي مرطيمة بنبل النخل يا مخورته ايقاها بختي شميله خيره ويله مدوميله يا بختها قايج قرته بنبل النخل يا مخورته
وانا لقيت صخايا بمهرايا بحوض ضمايا زدان شأفا وتزرقان مايا عموقه بغرقان وانا لقيت صخايا بمهرايا بحوض ضمايا زدان شأفا وتزرقان مايا عموقه بغرقان
بكيني هذا خرابة كارا اللي عتاب الوش لذلك سنان وذارب وكل الشاوذة بكيني هذا خرابة كارا اللي عتاب شباب زالن بالزول ورابة شدروا بخبرات الناثة زالن ورزون اخواتة يوم تقيط بخو شباب زالن بالزول ورابة شدروا بخبرات الناثة زالن ورزون اخواتة ديك وثيثة بقلايا بقبوق الصاخ ومايا هرقارك تسود لو شوف وخن ملع وشوف ديك وثيثة بقلايا بقبوق الصاخ ومايا هرقارك تسود لو شوف وخن ملع وشوف
Live from the Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort Studio in Farmington Hills, Michigan, it's the John Zia Oram Show.
شد مردوثة البايد شن بلا خيون بث نهرين معمورين شلامة وحباب براسي كلذانا يا كلذانا مريم دمي ما أمسد لإلت لم كمي كلدانا يا كلدانا يا أم كل دنيا معمورة ون برجت باب البنية ون قانون دخاية درية ون بش منك ما بقيل دماء حيلي روش ما دخن دقاريلي آوا مثلو أنا خيلي كلدانا يا كلدانا يا كلدانا يا كلدانا يا كلدانا يا يا برونة أمتي جبارة أمت خوال اللخ بسفارة مرم الديش محباورة كلدانا يا كلدانا يا كلدانا يا كلدانا يا كلدانا يا
Shamaya Alize Porskala John Zia Oram Ile #1 show.
أنا ملبانة يلدا قلة قدار نشلامي قمايا تأخوني جان زي أورم وقدار نشلامي خنة زودانا الأخواتي سالم جدو وأخواتي وأخوني جان يلدا خوشابو تتهاوى بصيخ أمه وآي قصيدة زين أمرنا دها إلى تجان زي أورم بس وأني بتوابش معه
مقبول.
يا جان زي أورم يا قورة الزونة خاثة يا جان زي أورم يا قورة الزونة خاثة اكطلب طالو صاخوثة وبيث ملي بركاثة مريم حاسيل بابوخ مرحبة ومرطاواثة تولي أموخ كم خازنوخ قورة نيخة ومكيخة اكشقلت وكياود بهديوثة بعيانة ولبخ بصيخة مريم بتهاوي أموخ وعمرخ بتاوي يريخة بس قالت كم شارتن بلوشانة بابا وساوة إيشع وتلميذ دي بقاوت سورة محكاوة كالداي كم يقريلوخ لذشولة رابة وطاوة طالوخ كياون هوناي يا جان زي أورم كهند إيتا كم يقرت يلباند روح داين مريا إيل بعيانوخ بصلوثة ديمة مريم مريا إيل بعيانوخ بصلوثة ديمة مريم وكشوقنوخ بشلامه.
I'm Mario George Zoma.
This is Brooklyn Marie Hadir Yaldo.
I'm Isabella Alos.
This is Abigail Rita Hadir Yaldo.
I'm Grace Davish. Welcome to the John Zia Oram show.
I'm Maxwell Munder Zoma. Shlama.
Shlama local khawata وخطوات Shlama Maxwell. Today Wednesday Yuchamochu Tatasara Biercha. And special guest in Manacha, so we're going to get going. Thank you so much for being here. Stay safe. Thank you, Achona Yaldakalla. Thank you so much for Junior in Toronto. I know he records. It's not easy. He's listening to us. He's in seminary. Tomorrow or next Friday, we'll put his pictures up dressed like a priest now. He's almost there. Me and Junior have been seen to the White House before, and we went to Rome together before. Silent. I don't know how it came out still. So we are with you till 7 o'clock. Thank you so much for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 5:30 to 7. We missed you Monday. We had a breakdown in the system as usual. Last week we had the Facebook one out worldwide. I was kind of happy because it wasn't me, and I don't have to use anything anymore. So we are here with a very, very dear friend of the family, very dear friend of the community, very dear friend of the city and state. And I met him, I don't know, 25, 30 years ago, but I met his dad, late Phil Jerome Kavanaugh, right? Phil, are you like somewhere in the middle, or are you the oldest?
There is 8 children. I'm number 6.
Oh, I'm number 6 out of 12.
Number 5.
So are we here with Phil? I can say Phil Jerome Kavanaugh. Phil, welcome to John Zia Oram Show.
Pleasure.
And I called you because I really wanted to brainstorm with you in today's world and post-corona, pre-corona, whatever you want to call it.
Not pre-corona. Please no.
Huh?
Not pre-corona. This is post-corona time.
Well, yeah, but it keeps coming. I thought it goes away, then it comes back and goes away and comes back, and I think it'll be around for a long time. So I was a young man when I came to America, 15-year-old. I watched your dad win an election. I thought it was 68. What year did he win?
2 terms, so he won in 61 and 65.
In 60, then he finished in 60.
So he served 62 to 70.
Exactly. That's what I kind of was somewhere downtown without knowing where the hell I was. Didn't even speak English. And they say, he's the mayor. Back in where we live and we came from as a young man, a young 13, 15-year-old, when you met the mayor or you saw a mayor, you were shaking back home because you weren't allowed to get near people, politically speaking, living under dictatorship. Iraq's still under dictatorship, so nothing changed. But I was very proud how your dad would handle him. So he was a big man, but size-wise.
He was 6'1".
Yeah, he was a big man. And he was Catholic, so,
Very.
I mean, that helped a lot when we saw that. And so, and the whole family, tell us a little bit about your family. The Kavanaughs, household name, because most all of you serve in political arena one way or another. I don't know about the rest of the brothers and sisters, but I know you.
I could rattle a few off.
Sure, loud. Get
I
close to the mic.
While I was serving, and it was right after, so it would be 2012, I guess, they passed right to work. And I gave a speech on the House floor.
What year was that, Phil?
2012.
20, okay.
No, 13. So we're just starting my second term. And I talked about how an immigrant, my grandpa, my dad's dad, came from Ireland to Ontario and then heard about $5 a day Ford, or working for the Ford Motor Company. So they emigrated from Canada.
I just want to introduce you on the snap. Phil Kavanaugh, ex-state rep, ex-county commission, son of the late Mayor Jerome Kavanaugh.
Proud father,
whatever, grandfather, you all over. Been a family Oram friend for a long time, but go ahead, sir. Thank you.
And I gave a speech on the House floor how a man immigrated for $5 a day, and he, because of the union, raised this family. And my grandpa, Sylvester Kavanaugh, had 5 children, and one, his youngest, was the longest-serving justice on the Michigan court.
Wow.
Youngest-serving justice on the Michigan Supreme Court. His daughter now serves, Megan Kavanaugh.
I meant to ask you, I see Megan Kavanaugh, and I meant that's your uncle's daughter?
Yes.
Michael, was it Michael?
Yes.
Wow, that is his daughter, because I saw the group of Dave Viviano, great friend, family friend, and I saw them all on this list, and I said, when does Kavanaugh get in there again?
Well, so my grandparents had 5 children. One was a bank president. my father, who ran and was the youngest mayor of the city of Detroit at the time, and then Kwame came in and beat him by, I guess, 3 or 4 months.
Seriously? In the
yeah.
30s, like that?
And, my father came home, I'm told the story by my mom, that saying, I'm going to run for mayor. My mom says, you can't.
He was a lawyer by trade, wasn't he?
Right. He says,
so.
it'll be good for my practice. It'll get my name out there. And I get it, because of that, my dad became the youngest. I come from 8 children. My parents had 8 children in 11 years. I know there's probably plenty out there with...
Well, Chaldeans, we usually...
Right. I have Irish triplets. So 2 months out of the year, all my daughters are the same age.
You have twins.
And then 10 months later, married. So 2 months out of the year, they're all the same age. So I have a brother who is now the longest serving judge on the Michigan Court of Appeals, because he's been on since '88 and he still is serving. Mark.
Your brother, Mark, yeah. That's why I had to
Chris
mix
was a
Mike
county
and...
commissioner. Dave was a county commissioner. And then I served. But I'm most proud that we worked hard last summer, and my youngest daughter, Mary, took over my seat in the Michigan House of Representatives.
I remember you driving over to the RV and
begging for your support.
Well, I told you to bring her over, and she spent the evening with us barbecuing and
good
grilling,
food, endless food,
in good mood, and we had a few Chaldeans. We were chatting. What kind of advice? I'll start early. We have Paul Manny. He's running for consul in Sterling Heights, and he came in the top 12. And between him, number 8, and the number 7, or 25 votes difference. So, and this is the first, now the election is November 2nd, this is the first Chaldeans ever won anything in the city, a big city. Sterling Heights is about 140,000 people, and there's over 50,000 Chaldeans possibly there. Our foundation is there now, Chaldean. Our chamber is there. Our base is there. What would you say from a political family, and I like to make this Little League social and community and political hour, where would you say, and we are being seen literally all over, and it's fine, where would you say an advice? Paul is on the Friday show with us. He comes in, a young man, 26 years old, I believe, and he wants to run, and he literally, coming to Sterling Heights and coming in the top 12, that's pretty good, isn't it? For those council members, average been there 20 years, each person.
Right.
It's hard to slide into that,
I'm impressed by formerly studied philosophy and theology at Sacred
Right,
Heart
he was
Seminary.
in secondary, yes.
That shows values. That shows, that shows values. That shows someone's belief in humankind. And we really need those kind of people.
And he's young. He can motivate a lot of the young people, and no matter where they're from.
I sold my house of 25 years when my daughter got elected because it's passing the baton, and I'm so glad. She's 30 years old, and I just feel like an old man, the schedule she keeps at this point that I did.
She makes some press.
Way back when.
Kavanaugh's usually make press, but Mary, that's like out of your own immediate family, that's the first child that ever ran for anything, right?
Yes.
Besides,
I mean, none of her cousins or nieces.
Exactly, yeah. And she won.
Well, she had a good
After she
campaign
ate
manager.
my shish kebab, I think she said, I'm going to go for it, Uncle
Oh, yeah.
John, and I'm going to go do it. And I was reading the redistricting the other day in the state of Michigan, and that kind of woke me up and says, Mary Kavanaugh. I said, whoa. Good for her. But she was pretty good with kids. She was pretty good in communities,
I was there 10 years ago and looked at the Republicans' draw maps. And not to be political, because Democrats do the same, but they literally drew my district down 7 miles. So I was from 7 to 8 Mile in Detroit, from the Redford border all the way to Schaefer. But my point is, they went around one block in order to encompass a colleague so that we'd run together.
Wow.
And it didn't create a problem. But, I was worried about those maps 10 years ago, and now it's a nonpartisan commission. I've heard that they're going to divide Redford. I consider that my second hometown, my hometown being Detroit.
Well, you're always, but you've been in Redford a long time.
It's last 10 years ago, they wanted to do the same, divided into 3-4 sections, because it's a suburb and wanted to incorporate Detroit, but Redford, I'm hoping, will be a whole.
So this is latest news as you speak, Phil. In the last few days, this redistrict, and maybe I'll go back and forth a little bit. Can you help us? What is the redistrict? And we come from a dictator country. A lot of my audience is listening, and it doesn't matter what language we speak in and watching. What is this? Can you just help us in a few minutes with redistrict? Me, politically guru, supposedly be. I don't know what the hell they talking about.
So based on the Constitution, United States Constitution, you have to, the nation has a census every 10 years. And that census data came out last year. And from that, they see the shifts of population. And Michigan will lose a congressional seat because the number of seats in the U.S. Congress is finite. There's 100 senators. That doesn't matter, 2 per state. But there is so many Congress people. So they see where the population is. They take the entire population, divide it by 420, and see where those populations rise. And Michigan, although it had an increase in population, its increase wasn't as greater as Texas, Florida, California.
God.
So all those states I just mentioned will gain a congressman, and Michigan will lose another. And we have lost congressmen since the 50s. The mighty, I think we had 18 at one point. So that
is based
happens.
on populations, Phil?
Yes. And so take the national model, and you have to do the same thing in the state. There's only 105 House of Rep seats, and there's 10 million people. Well, they see where that population lies. And it's done accordingly. And by the same token, Michigan has lost Congress people. Detroit has lost senators and House of Representatives because people have migrated into the suburbs or,
So is it every 10 years that you say?
Every 10 years.
Wow.
So 10 years ago, I was in the State House.
In the same
and
situation?
they were drawing lines, but there was a Republican governor, House of Representatives, and Senate. So whatever lines the Republicans wanted, they got. Here, it would be a little different because we have a Democratic governor, but the Michigan citizens voted to establish a separate panel outside of the legislature. And it's 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans, and 4 other people. And they analyze where the lines to be drawn. And if you think about it, we have a Democratic Secretary of State, Attorney General, Governor, and Congress people and senators. All of them. Yet we have the House and the Senate controlled.
Republican.
And that is simply because they draw lines favorable to their own districts. Democrats do the same, not making it partisan.
She doesn't have a veto power over what they draw?
Oh, she does.
Oh, okay.
But it's a different scenario. It's outside of the legislature, and it's this independent panel. So the maps you're seeing are drafts, and they're open for public comment, and they can be changed by the panel. But hopefully we will have fair and even lines that are representative of our state and our ethnicities, our demographics, et cetera.
So in 10 years from now, I'm hoping more Chaldeans be running for office, Chaldean Americans. They'll be redistricting like Sterling Heights, West Bloomfield.
They're doing it now.
They're doing it now. And
whoever's representing you as your representative in the House or the Michigan Senate may not be next time around because they could be moved over.
Is that a benefit, do you think, to the public? What do you think
Well,
of
it's
it?
a necessity. 50 years ago, all the population was in Detroit, and now
In a
it's
small
all scattered
town.
throughout
well,
the
yeah,
state.
when you were in the state, as we saw each other a bunch of time years ago, your chair of the committee, let's say, was Republican, was from Paw, Michigan, or Wolf, Michigan, and those are like 400 people or 1,000, 1,500 people there. But the Republicans elected him as the chair of that,
Because they drew the lines.
They drew the lines.
to be Republican heavy. The first thing they do when you draw partisan lines, which is not supposed to be, the first thing you do is you figure out where your Democrats are, and you just clump them all together. And then where your Republicans are, and you try to spread it out to cover.
To steal some more land-wise this way or that way.
But just look at it going forward. This nonpartisan committee will hopefully
That's first
draw
time
great
it happened,
lines.
nonpartisan?
Yes. This is the first time it's being enacted. Those maps are the
It's first time.
It,
How was it
it was
done
voted in
before?
by Michigan Constitution 2 years ago by
Right, but
the
how was it
residents.
when you were there? The legislators did it?
Yes.
Whoa.
So I saw lines that went through Redford 3 different ways. Detroit, down the mile roads.
This way, that way.
And finally, I picked up Detroit, lost Dearborn Heights, but I kept Redford as a whole township, which was where I was living.
Now your daughter is there.
She bought a house. As soon as I sold mine, she bought one, and it felt great to pass the baton to such an energetic,
I'm proud of her. She felt
enthusiast.
comfortable before the election came up this summer to the camp, and we were all there grilling and barbecue. And I bought the food. Achu just grills it. I don't want you to think this guy grilled. He didn't pay. I mean, he didn't pay for the food.
I know I didn't. It was delicious, so I'm happy.
Is it good?
Most of the time.
Yeah. So she's watching her dad. You know, this is my son Michael over there, the producer. I had to beg him to come here because he's a guru of this stuff. But I'm proud of him. He's sitting there and kind of watching me do what we need to do. And I'm so glad you're here. But we're going to take a little break for a minute, and we're going to come back. I want to talk to you. This is the time to talk about life, corona, political, based on what you see out here, these worlds, not because a Republican or a Democrat. I thought your family constantly were a middle of the road, even being a Democrat, Irish Catholic, just like we are Chaldean Catholic, but we also split up halfway this way or that way because of our religious beliefs are strong. And I'm sure the Irish, as Joe Sullivan, the Sullivan brothers, are very close to me, still watches us, and late Pat, his brother, always told me, he says, when my grandfather came here and they were signed, Irish don't need to apply because we're not hired, you type of thing. So when ethnic come here, they think they just being targeted now. No, it just goes on forever. Whoever is in the country country came together hundreds of years ago.
Well, the majority is becoming the minority, and they're pushing back because they don't want to see it. But our country was designed to be represented by those that live here, and if populations are increasing, we should embrace the diversity.
Yeah, I don't want to, especially being a foreigner, I don't want the foreigners bring us their rules from their countries because they're not very good. They're not.
But their traditions and their food.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that after. We'll be right back.
There's a sense of anticipation, electricity in the air. You think tonight is your night, and you're in luck, because here, a great time is a sure thing. This place is certified hot. This is Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Go on a hot streak unlike any other, with hundreds of the hottest slots, certified by their manufacturers to be set to the best paybacks guaranteed. Plus the hottest table games and sizzling live entertainment and nightlife. So why play at just any casino when you can play at the only casino and resort that's certified hot? This is your night, and it's time to experience more at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Regency Manor Backwood Hall. تلفون 248-353-1133. السيد أمير نيجر مستعد لإقامة كافة مناسبات الحفلات والتعاسي وغيرها. مشهورين ومختصين بعمل الشاورما اللذيذة وجميع المشويات والقواضي والصواني المشكلة بأنواعها. جلسات ليلية ممتعة مع الأهل والأصدقاء من الاثنين وحتى الخميس من كل أسبوع. بار كامل من المشروبات الروحية. المحل واقع على الميل 12 ما بين تلغراف ونورث ويسترن هايواي. تلفون 248-353-1133 248-353-1133. ريجنسي مانر يرحب بكم.
Southfield Funeral Home, Jerry and Ferial Yono, 12 Mile in Southfield for 37 years, 17 Mile in Rhine, second location. They do funerals, كل أمريكا, Michigan, كل ستيتات, California, Arizona, على لاوث, أمد كبه, خابر Jerry and Ferial Yono. West Side, 248-569-8080. East Side, 586-275-0429. 37 years in business. Price, quality, service, excellent. أي شغلات شنة funeral home business. That's all they do. هراي لشولي. They're part of our community and we are part of them. 37 years. Jerry and Ferial Yono.
أسواق قاشات ميديترينيان ماركت أند بيكري. ساهر قاشات وأولاده يقدمون لكم بضاعة شرقية مستوردة يوميا من كافة مستلزمات مطبخ ربة البيت، من المعلبات، الأجبان، الألبان، الشرزات، الترشية، بهارات، فواكه وخضروات فريش يوميا، لحومات طرية منوعة فريش، فروزن فود، ديري فود، أطيب المشويات اللذيذة. مطعم كامل داخل المحل لتلبية طلباتكم وحفلاتكم. صمون ومعجنات حارة يوميا. Carry Out and Catering. المحل واقع على شارع نورث ويسترن هايواي والميل 14. تلفون أسواق قاشات 248-538-9552 248-538-9552. تلفون المطعم 248-538-9558 248-538-9558. أهلا وسهلا بالجميع.
طمني يا دكتور، دخلك شو صاير اللي
Ascension Medical Group. عيادة العائلة الدكتور باسل عبو بريخو، أخصائي في الأمراض الباطنية والأطفال والكوليسترول، والدكتورة مدى حكمة جميل، أخصائية في الأمراض الباطنية. يقدمون خدماتهم في موقعين ساوثفيلد وستيرلينغ هايت داخل المجمع الطبي للدكتور باسل بريخو على الميل 19 وماونت بالقرب من كنيسة الشهداء. كذلك يوجد داخل المجمع الطبي للدكتور باسل بريخو مجموعة من الاختصاصيين التابعين إلى هيئة أسنشن الصحية، ومن ضمنهم اختصاصية النسائية والتوليد، بالإضافة إلى صيدلية ومركز للعلاج الطبيعي. للمزيد من المعلومات الحجز والاتصال على الهاتف 248-557-4443 248-557-4443.
شطرة
that she wants is another baby. She's gone tomorrow, but all that she wants is another baby, yeah. All that she wants is another baby. She's gone tomorrow, but all that she wants is another baby, yeah. Gearing up like we own it, unconfined, not controlling. Gypsy like yes, we're moving. Shoulders ready, everybody shusha. Gearing up like we own it, unconfined, not controlling. Gypsy like yes, we're moving. Shoulders ready, everybody shusha. Everybody shusha. Everybody shusha.
نشرة الأخبار يقرأها لكم جاني عتشو، وإليكم التفاصيل. الانتخابات العراقية: استمرار عمليات العد والفرز اليدوي في المحطات المتبقية، والمفوضية تستعد لإعلان النتائج النهائية خلال 9 أيام. تهديد ووعيد الفصائل تعترض على النتائج الانتخابات، والصدر يدعو الضبط النفس. نتائج الانتخابات تشعل الشارع العراقي بين المؤيد والمعترض، والمشهد بات متوترا. نتائج الانتخابات تشعل الشارع العراقي بين المؤيد والمعترض، والمشهد بات متوترا في ليلة عصيبة شهدتها الكتل السياسية وتصريحات لا تخلو من لغة التهديد والترغيد. انعكاس ذلك كان واضحا على الشارع العراقي من خلال قطع بعض الشوارع الرئيسية وتجديد أمن غير مسبوق، فيما بين تصريحات الخاسرين التي طعنت بنتائج الانتخابات وصمت الفائزين. لا تزال المفوضية صامتة تقاوم الضغوط لحين التصويت على النتائج. أهم المعترضين على الانتخابات: دولة القانون، الفتح، حزب الله، بعض الفصائل، بعض الكتل. خسرت العديد من النواب القدماء وبعض الوزراء السابقين المرشحين في انتخابات مجلس النواب 2021، ولم يجد هؤلاء المرشحين العدد الكافي من الأصوات، بينهم قيادات كبيرة. فوز 97 امرأة بالانتخابات التشريعية. أفادت قوى قريبة من التحالف الفتح الذي خسرت في الانتخابات أنها ستطعن في النتائج. قالت رئيسة بعثة المراقبين الأوروبيين أن الانتخابات العراقية تمت إدارتها بشكل جيد، وأضافت حرية التعبير تم احترامها خلال الانتخابات العراقية. ونقلت وكالة الأنباء العراقية أن الانتخابات العراقية تمت إدارتها بشكل جيد، وأن يوم الاقتراع كان هادئا ومسالما، وأكدت أن الناخبين أدلوا بأصواتهم بسهولة، مثيرة إلى أن البعثة رصدت إرسال أكثر من 100 مراقب، إضافة إلى 59 دبلوماسيا من الاتحاد الأوروبي. وأضافت حرية التعبير تم احترامها خلال الانتخابات. ونقلت وكالة الأنباء العراقية عن أمانة مجلس الوزراء إعلانها فوز 97 امرأة في الانتخابات التشريعية. Thank you for listening. And John Zia Oram, thank you. وبهذا الموجز نأتي إلى نهاية هذه النشرة على أمل اللقاء في يوم آخر. وبهذه المناسبة أنا وجان زيا أورم نشكركم على حسن الاستماع، ونطلب لكم ليلة هانئة سعيدة، وسلام المسيح معكم جميعا، وإلى اللقاء، وشكرا.
شخص يلهب لرؤية المخلص في العراق، في العراق. شعبك يدعونك لكيما يرى مجدك في العراق يا الله. سأرى يا عراق سالما منعما وغانما مكرما، سالما منعما وغالبا مكرما. سأراك يا الله تنهض العراق، تنهض العراق من جديد، من جديد. أثر الشكر ومردوثا الديرام البركاثا. أي عراق، أي عراق، ما الحبة والشمال البيشة بشتاديشة وتويرا، وتويرا للدارين يا عراق. انصلوي لمعتبيني وبيزيلي كل دمي، انصلوي لمعتبيني وبيزيلي كل دمي. مجنوخ آلهي نطرد لعراق، نطرد لعفريت، هي عفريت، هي عفريت.
Welcome back, أخواتي وأخواتي of John Zia Oram. Thank you, Hannah Achu. From Karelan Iraq News, and there was election last Monday in Iraq. And what Hannah John Achu read in the news in Iraq, we kind of do here in America as a free country, but I don't know if Iraq takes it. I mean, they get in there. They learn from the Americans how the UN is monitoring them. But here we carry voting card, right? There they carry machine guns. So if they don't like your vote, they still go at it. So I was reading this morning early how they do it. And now in America, in Iraq, we don't have corona. They just die. There's no vaccine. There's no test. There's no medication. The government steals most of the stuff. So a few in the northern Christian towns exactly, on some of them, my sister's husband is there now visiting his family in Nankawa, is you just die, you get sick, you're done. There is vaccine, there is test, there is medication, they just steal it. And they'd give it to the higher up and let it go. So I want to ask Phil Cavanaugh, our great friend of the Oram family. He's not the only Oram he knows. I know that they all watching, so that's okay. But our family and your family go back a long way. And I asked you to come on board here and discuss some things with us. And I don't think I would have done that before Corona because I was so entangled with the community, ethnic, and all these guests I had here. And it's hard to get guests here. I don't want really. They don't want to be here, and I don't want them here. And I don't do.
Okay.
I don't do Zoom. No, because we used to have packed. This place was packed. I mean, 2 each mic, and I appreciate it, but we don't want to. I'm vaccinated 3 times, so, and now we just change it. We change our life. We went into the social media life and just try to reach people, and we enter the community sometime. So I wanted just to talk to you. We talked about a lot of things before the break in the music. Phil, is that explain post and pre and post what you're seeing. And I think you lost your job over where you were in Wayne County, weren't you?
I was in Wayne County.
Excuse me.
Chose to leave. I mean, simply because. So when Corona hit, you worry about your family, and I knew my daughter here, so I flew to San Diego. And when I was ready to return to Detroit, it was on fire.
A mess, huh?
And I said, I don't want to go back there. So I spent a few months out west.
You did. I remember that.
Sedona area, Scottsdale.
Doing Corona start?
Like the 3 months, like March through May.
Oh, good. Because I went into that RV, sorry to stop you, and just took off in northern Michigan.
But it caught us all by surprise. Wow. And nobody knew when it would end, how to react, at first how it was caused, and it was panic. And so I sort of, evaluated whether I wanted a 9-to-5 job. I had been at the service of the people, which I enjoyed, and I got a lot of fulfillment from serving as commissioner, serving as a state representative, even my law practice. I represented the less fortunate. In my tenure, I was with Treasurer Eric Sabri for 5 years.
Wayne County Treasurer,
excuse me. And auctions, when I came, when Mr. Sabri was elected, and I came in at the same time, foreclosures were rampant. And we developed programs that targeted owner-occupied, meaning people that were living there. And during my tenure, foreclosures of owner-occupied houses went down 94%.
Oh, my God.
So I had a great sense of fulfillment. But Corona changed everything. I mean, he froze foreclosures, programs. It was harder to reach the people, right? Because nobody was gathering.
So you had a high position there. You were like a deputy.
I was assistant deputy treasurer, and it was very fulfilling. But I bought a house over the summer, got my daughter elected, or helped. She was a tremendous candidate, and I moved to Detroit's east side. And it's a new chapter. I just turned 60. John and I were talking about this before the show, and the rat race that we both, how we met was through the political circles and going to parties and trying to be everywhere all the time.
Go, and go.
And it hasn't just changed for the two of us. It's you can see it's changed for American society. I was watching the news.
See how relaxed I am.
4.5 million people have just chosen not to go back to work.
That's what my friend from Soaring Eagle, Tim McCullough, said. He sent it to me this morning. They're just not going back.
And I have no desire to go back. I want to do something fulfilling. And
hang with me, huh?
Well, I'm hanging with you today.
I'm kind of shy.
Privilege. But it's a whole new paradigm. And, for me, I went from family and political life to I got a new puppy. And he's out in the car, John. And I just love my dogs, my cats.
Convertible. I want to make sure Michael asked me if your dogs were like closed a door. I said, no, he's in the outside in the convertible car out, like they train them well enough. The kind of dogs I had, they would have took off. So you change. You're saying this. You're going like, is the flow going that way? Look at guys like me and you. Okay, Achu is retired. I don't really give a damn if I ever go back to what I was doing. It don't matter.
Right, but you've reinvented yourself.
You
and
know?
You're doing something you like. That's the point. I want to make sure my next step is something I like. And Court of Appeals Judge Karen Ford Hood died. She was a great judge on the Michigan Court of Appeals in August, and the governor currently has that posted. So I'm applying for the Michigan Court of Appeals, and
she appoints them. Then they have to.
She
run.
does.
And how many judges you have? Phil Cavanaugh family's been around a long time.
My youngest brother's on the Wayne County Circuit. Like I said, my oldest brother is longest serving at Court of Appeals. Not sure if
your cousin is Supreme Court.
Yes.
So, and you apply for an opening,
and we'll see.
I'm saying that. I mean, you guys were born not to lose in politics because you're a trusted name. People love the name. We understand the name. So when there's a Kavanaugh, they know where you're coming from. And public likes that. Public overall like that, including your daughter. I'm proud of her. At 30-year-old, ran for state rep, I think just this last year, right?
Yeah. So she started in January.
She started in January. Her mom is a treasurer, right?
4 terms.
4 terms. I remember how she
years.
got there, but we'll talk after.
Even I've known
and
that.
She's a hard worker, and she's smart. And I pray for you to maybe you want to serve, don't you?
I do.
You want to do what you enjoy, you say.
I very much so, especially post-corona. And I started at the Michigan Court of Appeals when I was going to law school at 35 years old with 6 kids. I was a court officer for the Michigan Court of Appeals, right at Michigan and Woodward. And I saw their service and how they worked and how the court ran, and I said, that's how I want to end my career. And I had a choice to run for judge, circuit court, district. I mean, all my brothers and siblings, not all, but plenty. The Kavanaugh name is trusted, and we've tried to not violate that. I didn't really want to be circuit court judge, but I loved the legislature and seeing the problems out there.
How long were you there, Phil?
I was Wayne County Commissioner for 8 years and state rep for 4, so 12 years as a legislator. And I enjoyed serving. But like I said, it's a good feeling when a dad can pass the baton to his daughter.
What changed in you pre-corona, post-corona? We talk like it was 20 years ago. It's only a year and a half ago or so. It's crazy. 18 months, the world changed. What do you think? I mean, you say you like to do what you like to do first. 5.4 million people, they were saying today's press or yesterday, they elected not to go back to work. Right, just say, we're not going back. They didn't go because of unemployment. They didn't go after the $900. They didn't go after. They just say, we're not going back.
And their eyes have opened. I want benefits. I want decent pay if I am going to go back to work. But what changed, I can tell you overnight, March 13th, the country was shut down. And this statistic blows me away, but it makes a lot of sense. We instantly realized that 40% of the workforce could work from home. And a lot of people figured out, hey, if I can do my job here, I'm comfortable, I don't want to drive into work. So that's a huge factor because I would rather, I don't mind having an office to be official, to go to.
Because of electronic too, right? The computers and the iPhone and
But, 40 hours of just sitting in one place, I don't think any of us really
in 20 hours driving back and forth, right? Hour each way on average. And you're doing 14 hours of driving. Then you take the hour for lunch, 5 days, that's 19 hours. That's half of the hours you were working.
And what are you working for? To cover childcare, to cover that car note?
The babysitter.
A lot of people think a simpler life is better, and I know I do.
So yesterday, you've been to the camp up in Brighton area, and my daughter called my wife with the babies were in the car. They want to come and see me. And she said, Dad, I'm picking them up from school at 4:30. The bus is coming, and the other one at 4:30. And there's going to be traffic. And that was like noon. I said, no, Crystal, there's really, these days the world changed. You couldn't get on 96 heading west
I came over
years
here
ago.
at the peak of rush hour, and it was clear
You just
sailing.
drove clear. So what do you think is going to happen from your expertise and experience being on Phil Cabin on just John Zia Oram show? And this is, gets replayed a lot. It's kind of scary what's really happening, because I told you I want Halloween last minute shopping for these things outside, and
There's
kids,
none.
There's none.
Well,
you go into
the world
Walmart.
economics we could talk about, however, all the cargo's stuck in ports, etc. But on a personal note, people had a lot of time to reflect and hopefully evaluate and say, this is or isn't what I want to do. But the flip side of that is the technology we're growing apart. I moved back to Detroit, and as a kid, I grew up in Detroit, and I knew every neighbor. And if you came
and
home,
you could have moved anywhere you wanted.
Your mom knew that you got in trouble, before you got home. And neighbors don't talk. We're just so isolated in our own instruments. I'm as guilty. John called me this morning, and it's like no time had evaluated, but for the one time Mary and I came up, it's been a couple years since we really hung.
Well, like we used to do, but we always did it between 9 and 5. I told you on the phone in a hurry. All right, what are you doing? I gotta go. I got this meeting. No, I got it. Let me get this
9
phone.
to 5. You did most of your best business
After
at night.
5. But I'm saying I call it 9 to 5. But it was to me some days that when we were doing that health choice program and doing stuff in Wayne County, in Oakland County, me and my daughter Crystal, we're doing 18-hour days that I can do literally today and make same money in 2 hours. It all depends how you work smart.
Not everybody can say that.
How you can work smart. Everybody can listen and watch. Work smart, not hard. And the other thing I learned, not me because I always own my own businesses, you don't have to have that job anymore. You can go get a job anywhere. I mean, my daughter.
That for the economy, yeah.
Kids
coming out of school. When I went to school, it was how are we going to even find a job? And now employers are calling
tuition and paying your this, and we saw a sign at Aldi's on the way to Lansing. We'll pay you $1,500 or $3,000. Come on in. But you know what? Honestly speaking, with our age and like you say, and speaking here live on John Zia Oram show, I'm scared what's going to happen in the future with these kids and what's going to happen, what they have coming ahead. There's no pre-planning. It's crazy how is it going. But America always survives it. But now this is a war event. You remember, I tell him all the time as we drive north, we usually follow or lead the world when something happens. And it usually happens here or happens in Russia or happen in China, happen in Germany. This corona is in every village in the world. You can get affected on east side, west side, north side.
Or you can get vaccinated.
Or you can vaccinate. And here's what I'm going to say. Exactly. You read me. I never seen a group of Americans since I got here as a kid where the all far right believes in their political belief and far left agree on one thing. I don't want to get vaccinated. I don't trust the government. They agree on this thing because Coleman Young Jr. was on this show about a month ago, and he told me that only 37% of Detroiters are vaccinated. Now, when I go north like we do, fully, then I go north by Mount Pleasant, by Soaring Eagle, and up further or Stanish in those areas, I think like 30% is vaccinated because the amount of the 8,000 a day is showing lately, it's all north of those counties. And, I know the county execs over there, and they're good friends, and we get together. And they just told me 2 weeks ago in one of the county, they shut down the county courthouse. They went back to Zoom.
Right.
They went, what's going on?
But you're saying the virus, and that's an entire issue. We were talking society, and in general, but there is cause to a concern from our generation about the millennials and the dedication to work, etc. But it is bright because they believe in moderation, they believe in justice and equal treatment. And during the height of the pandemic, not just during the pandemic, but the height, everyone got in the streets for Black Lives Matter. I mean, in every state in this nation, in numerous countries around the world, there was a wave, and it seemed to be created overnight. So social media can be good things. It can be bad. So it is polarizing, but it can also be unifying. And disinformation is a real problem.
It's crazy. But we had disinformation before by rumors of neighbor to neighbor, friend to friend, politician against now it's social media. He comes to me all the time. We write together, and whatever he watches on Facebook, he's a big believer in that. Not because of who he is, because of his age. So when he tells me something, about 99% of it is bull. And I say, "Where did you hear that?" He goes, "I heard it in the news." He doesn't say Facebook till I question it some more because it makes no sense. Some of the stuff in this Facebook is criminal. But I think this guy is getting his butt whipped, and they said the other day, Zuckerman, whatever his name is, lost $8 billion. Then on the bottom say he's only worth $128 billion now. I think the misinformation needs to be controlled, as in politics. Your family, God bless them, been around 50 years, 60 years. They got to be legislated more instead of lobbyists more. I think this social media, my dad told me a long time ago, Jam San, God bless him, he's in heaven up there with your dad. He says, we were the first people ever had cell phones in the 1980s. It's to sell, computers, everything else. And he goes, whoever's bringing this, a human's going to be dumb one day and depend on it. And we are in 2021. And this is true, he told me. That is
extremely insightful.
That was extremely, because he saw us panic, and we were on these big Motorola phones in our hand, and Joe and Randy and Gary and me, we all, with my dad, flew to China, flew to Japan. Nobody even knew how to spell China or Japan back then, but we were doing in the business where we dealt with them directly in our Jam Sound location. So 1982, when my son was born, I flew to Hong Kong, then I went to Japan, and I brought the very, very, very first Motorola to Detroit area, or Oki phone, Japanese, and I can see Channel 4, Channel 7, Channel 62 at the time say, Mr. Oram is walking down Metro. Metro was very small, and I have no wire. I still have that video, that tape from way back then. But my dad looked at us sitting in the office listening to all of us, you know, 8-track, cassettes, this and that. Then his phone is coming, we talk, and he sees these big old computers we were having at Jam Sound, even at the time, and says, humans not going to operate like this because you can't. So I don't know how else we can describe it these days, but I think all time would tell, right?
Yeah.
So I appreciate you being here.
Thank you
Our
for the
time
invitation.
is up. Thank you. Phil Cavanaugh, question for what, Acha?
Okay, if you go hospital...
You're going to make a statement or a question? Because I know you make a statement.
Small statement.
That's not a question.
No.
That's what I thought.
If you go hospital and you have a corona and you didn't get your shot, your insurance will not pay.
We don't know that yet. You said that to me today. He's right. There's a rumor in this corporation insurance too, or self-insurance, these companies. He's read something that if you got corona and you haven't got your, what is it?
I know a couple of guys, they went to the hospital.
And the refuse, and the hospital refused. They got them in, they refused to serve them.
They didn't pay for it.
So get your shot, get your mask, hug your family, and stay safe. Thank you, Phil.
And if you do get your shot and you do get sick, for
3.
one, it'll
I
be
got
covered.
3. 1, 2, 3.
But for 2, you won't die. Your symptoms are much
I'm looking
reduced.
to go out of town. Actually, I'm looking last night. Actually, my son, I haven't heard this yet, but go on the cruise next month. And I never dreamed during Corona I would ever go back on the ship. But they don't allow you to be on. They don't let you get off or on without having vaccinated.
Right.
So Soaring Eagle does that up there. I work with them sometime. And a week ago, they put all the employees back on mask because they're concerned for their employees and their customers. And that's what happened.
The CEO of United was on TV this morning. He said 97% of their workforce is, but he's got to let 700 people go. And it's
Henry
just
Ford did that the other day. You saw that at hospital?
And
the hospital.
I mean, I feel confident flying United because of that.
I will.
Everybody's vaccinated.
That may change. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, John.
We'll be back. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Akhawata Khatwata. God bless you. We'll be back with Paul Mendy Friday, 5:30 to 7. Stay safe. Mask up. That's Phil Cavanaugh. Thank you, Phil Cavanaugh. Thank you, Junior. Thank you, Yaldakalla. Thank you for everybody to help us in the show, especially Hana Achu. He gets all the credit, but I take care of him for dinner tonight, so he's all set. He's smiling. God bless you. Love you all from the bottom of my heart. I love you, Mom.
نطرا بركاثا يمي يا يمي والخاي امي يمي يا يمي والخاي امي جهيلخ ونهيلخ وما قعوذة بغزيلخ شلوم بخاين نزريلخ وبلبخ حب ندريلخ ما قد جهيلخ ونهيلخ